Subscribe, RG City Center.
Whiskey. The other type is grain whiskey. Grain whiskey first came to existence in the 1830s. Annie's Coffee, once a tax collector from Ireland, patented the coffee or continuous still. This whiskey was made with a mix of cereals, so it tended to be lighter in style and character. Once this whiskey was mixed with more flavoursome malts, it created a, thankfully for some, much easier drinking scotch. This, ladies and gentlemen, was known as the blended whiskey. And I promise it's just as cool as this animation here. So I bet you're all wondering what this beautiful whiskey-filled room actually is. The answer is a typical sample room which would have been used in the 1870s. Master blenders would come here to put their noses to the test, select the right combination of whiskies to create the perfect blend. Now some context on whiskey production. 200 years ago, Irish whiskey was way more popular than Scotch, with it being lighter and more consistent in taste. Scotch whiskey was nothing like you'll taste today. It was fiery and inconsistent, being a more, let's say, acquired taste. Introduction of grain in the mid-1800s was crucial, allowed the mix of lighter and more powerful whiskies, making it more palatable to a wider audience. The first commercial blend was released in the 1860s, known as Usher's Green Stripe. This trend caught on, with licensed grocers now adapting their tea blending skills to now produce Scotch whiskey. As you can imagine, the easier and tastier Scotch made it much more popular in England and 200 other countries around the world. If you are a single malt drinker, you should be raising your glasses to thank these blenders, allowing the consistency in malts. In other words, this means if you bought a bottle of whiskey 5 years ago, the exact same bottle today, it would be identical in flavour. If I can now ask everyone to please look at the bottles at both sides, and at the end of the table, we'll now explore how a master blender would go about creating a perfect blend. So first, they would add 70 to 80% grain whiskey. Then 20 to 30% malts. The blender then carefully considers the style and adds white malts. Lowland and Speyside tend to be lighter and more fruity. Highland and Campbelltown tend to be deeper and more robust in flavour. Islay needs to be used sparingly due to its strong aroma. This ensures that the smoky flavour doesn't overpower the blend. You could say that the key to a perfect blend is its distinct taste, and you'd be right, but the real key is to make sure that no one component that makes a blend stands out. They should all come together in perfect harmony. Let me now hand you over to the oldest colleague in the building. Over to you, Douglas.
Yeah, that's better. Allow me to formally introduce myself. Douglas McIntyre, Master Blender, deceased. They've done a grand job in telling you the basics of my art, but let me try to paint you a clearer picture. Grain whiskey, which makes up the base of the blend, is like the canvas of a painting. You may not pay much attention to the canvas, but if you think about it, it needs to be the right quality to absorb and display the beautiful colours in the artist's palette. In fact, any masterpiece is only as good as its canvas. It's the same with grain whiskey. You may think it's only there in the background, but without it, there would be no great blend to enjoy. In the same way that the artist subtly mixes many different colours together to create his masterpiece, the blender blends the flavoursome single malt whiskies expertly with the grain whiskies to create something unique and magical. And there you have it. A masterpiece. Enough from me. I'm keeping you from the most exciting part.
Thank you very much, Douglas, and he's right. Now the most exciting part. I'm going to ask you all to please select a whiskey to taste. So, a quick reminder, starting clockwise. If you place your glass on the yellow circle, you'll get Lowland, which is light and citrusy. If you place your glass on the purple circle, you'll get Highland, which tends to be more floral and robust. If you place your glass in the blue circle, you'll get Speyside, which tends to be lighter, more fruity, and tastes vaguely of pear. If you place your glass on the green circle, you'll get Campbelltown, which tastes of vanilla. If you place your glass on the red circle, you'll get Isla, which has an iconic smoky aroma. And finally, if you place your glass on the multicolored circle, sadly it doesn't mean you get to drink all whiskey, but it does mean you get to try a blended whiskey, which is more mellow and some say an easier drink. If you're under 18 or just aren't feeling the whiskey today, that's okay. Please leave your glass in the middle and I'll come give you Scotland's other national drink, slightly more on the fizzier side, Iron Brew. I'm going to pour, but don't drink just yet. We need to go somewhere even more special to taste.
Ah, the delicious aromas of all these whiskies being poured. It takes me back to my days as a master blender and selecting just the right mix of malts to bring together the subtle grains to create a perfect blend.
Would you guys like this one?
Yeah.
Which color would you like?
I tend to start drinking whiskey just like
I like green.
extra special.
Which one for you, sir?
Green.
Green? There you are. And which color for you, sir?
Red.
There you are.
200 years ago, whiskey was but a small industry, often a sideline to farming. But with the advent of the grains, it was really too long. It started to be that our national drink distilled by the hills and plains is now being to the markets of the world in so many different ways. Now, there is this second all Scotch whiskey, so it's great fellow master blenders consistent performance which want to take. I could go on for like drams anywhere and do somewhere very special.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just coming around for the final drinks. Hello. Okay, that's not good. There you are. Right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure you have all your belongings, loved ones, and slightly more important than family members, your whiskies. If anyone doesn't have a drink, please speak now or forever hold your peace. Right? Great. So now we're going to go somewhere very special. The world's largest unopened collection of Scotch whiskey. Here I'll tell you all a little more about your chosen dram. For the dram in dramatic right here, guys. If you please don't follow me through with your glasses and meet me at the table in the middle. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
ਗਲਾਸ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਅਭੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਤੂੰ ਆਉਣਾ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਵੀਡੀਓ 'ਚ YouTube ਤੇ ਇਹ ਘਰਦਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਈ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੀ YouTube ਤੇ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਆਈ ਆ
Island.
Thank you very much. So if everyone just wants to gather around the table in the middle, there'll be plenty of time for pictures and videos at the end. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Clive collection, which I'll tell you all a little more about very shortly. Now, a common question I get asked here is, what's the best way to drink your whiskey? And the answer is any way you want, just as long as it's in a glass and preferably going into your mouth. I've heard people drink whiskey with Coke, mixer, and sometimes even milk. But just as long as you're enjoying your whiskey however you want, no one should really care. Now I'm going to teach you all the 5 steps we use here to truly appreciate a whiskey. So the first step is to get your glass and hold it up to the light like this, and see what colour it is. Is it light in colour? If that's the case, then that means it's likely a lighter bodied whiskey and less mature. If it's dark in colour, then that means it's a much more heavier bodied whiskey, more mature, and likely from a sherry cask. Now, I want you to all tell the body of your whiskey. So I want you to get your glass and gently swirl it around like this. You should then see little droplets begin to form. These are called legs. If there's lots of legs and they fall very quickly, then that means it's a lighter bodied whiskey. If there's only a few legs and they take their time to fall, then that means it's a much more heavier bodied whiskey. Now, I want you to all do the nosing. So I want you to get your glass, bring it around, up to your nose, and take a sniff. Oh, it's low alcohol for 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I want you to all try again. Only hold your mouth open a little and bring the glass around. If you do this a few times, it's said to bring out the individual scents which are in your whiskey. Now, I want you to all do the most exciting part. I want you to try your whiskey. So here in Scotland, before we take a drink, we have a saying, Slanjava. It's Scots Gaelic for to good health. So everybody, Slanjava. Love that enthusiasm. So take a sip and hold it in your mouth for a few seconds and see what individual scents and flavours you can pick out. The final step is the finish, or palate. So swallow that sip and see how long the flavour stays around. Does it stay around for a while, or does it disappear very quickly? Some whiskies have been known to last in the mouth for a few hours. Now,
Subscribe to RD3 Sanju.